statistics, plotting, cleaning data, pre-processing data. Again, some of the cleaning can also be done using mathematical tools like outlier detections and stuff like that. Right? So these are all very, very useful and fundamental tools that you need to have. Of course, for some analysts, it's also good to have some simple to use tools. As in, these need not be mathematical tools. For example, take Microsoft Excel. Again, it's a very simple tool. I know many of you may have used Excel. Again, how many of you have ever used Excel or Google Sheets? Thumbs up. How many of you ever used, even for a simple thing, Microsoft Excel or Google Sheets? Thumbs up. If you've never used it, thumbs down. Cool. Again, it's a very simple tool to use, right? Very simple, but I've seen terrific analysis being done just on Excel. On Excel, you can build simple machine learning models. You may be surprised to hear this, but that's possible. Right? Similarly, there are other slightly more complex tools like Tableau, Power BI. Right? These are all very visual tools, very simple to use tools. At the end of the day, as a data analyst, you're responsible for the insights. How you generate the insights, whether you generate the insights using some complex Python code or whether you do it using Tableau and Power BI, doesn't matter. At the end of the day, the value is in the insights. How you do it is secondary. Right? But these are, knowing some Tableau, knowing some Excel is useful. And again, many of these tools are extremely simple to pick up. If you know SQL, Python, and some of the plotting, some of the mathematical foundations here, picking up these tools is straightforward. Now, next thing that is sometimes very useful, especially at top product-based companies. Again, most of what I'm going to cover is with respect to keeping my experiences in mind. Right? For example, I worked at Amazon. I've done hundreds of interviews as I was setting up my own fairly large machine learning team with over 100 folks, and also interviewing for many other teams. So a lot of what I'm going to discuss is biased by my experiences at FANG-like companies. Again, I've also interviewed at FANG companies. So please, again, I cannot tell you how some specific bank in a specific country might interview. That I don't have much knowledge of because I've never worked there. I've also not interviewed there. So most of what I'm going to tell you is going to be very FANG specific, if I may say so, very Amazon specific or Amazon-like companies. Okay. So in addition to all of this, knowing some basic machine learning techniques is also extremely helpful for a data analyst. Because again, at the end of the day, machine learning is all applied mathematics. That's what it is. If you think about it, if you talk to a statistician, he'll say, boss, all of your machine learning is applied statistics. If you talk to a mathematician, he'll say, this is all simple. This is all applying mathematics to some data problems. That's what most of machine learning is. So knowing some basic machine learning techniques like k-means, k-nearest neighbors, like logistic regression, linear regression, simple hierarchical clustering, knowing some basic machine learning will help you become a very good data analyst, sometimes even a senior data analyst. Because now the tools that you have, at the end of the day, to do analysis, you need mathematical tools and programming tools or computational tools or graphical tools. The more tools you have, mathematics is also a tool. Machine learning models are a tool. Right? The moment you have some of these more tools, you can become a more powerful analyst. Right? Bottom line, these are the skills. These are the roles. Again, for the data analyst role, these are the most important skills. And this is what companies also typically test you for, if you think from first principles. Okay, this is one role. Let's go to the next role. The next role is that of a data scientist. Right? Very popular, very glorified, sometimes even misunderstood role. Now, data scientist is everything that a data analyst is. Let's not forget that. They should be able to do everything that a data analyst does, plus some more things. Again, a data scientist must be able to do all of this. But in addition to what a data analyst does, they need more mathematical depth, which means, let me explain what I mean by that, which means they have to know the internals of how a machine learning algorithm works, or the internals of how some data cleaning technique works, internals of how a data plotting technique works, internals of how a statistical technique works, right? So more depth basically means they have to know the internals of things more than a data analyst. Plus, they also have to know more breadth of techniques. Sorry, I've already written depth, so more breadth. So what do I mean by more breadth? What I mean here is, See, if you take a typical data analyst, they could know just, let's say, 4 or 5 machine learning algorithms, and that's okay. A data scientist, on the other hand, is expected to know a wide spectrum of machine learning, and sometimes, in many cases, even deep learning algorithms, especially if the team that is hiring you is working on images, text, or video. That is the bottom line of it. So a data scientist is one level above a data analyst in terms of the depth of knowledge, breadth of knowledge, and also they're expected to be slightly better at programming. For example, a data scientist is expected to know some basic inbuilt data structures. Inbuilt data structures, like especially in Python, like dictionaries or hash tables, lists, sets, tuples. They're expected to know some of these. They're also expected to know some basic time and space complexity, right? Because otherwise, how can they actually pick the right technique for the job? Again, a data scientist, as the name suggests, they work with data. And their job, what is the job of a scientist? A job of a scientist is to conduct many experiments, whether it's a chemical engineer or whether it's a chemistry scientist or a biology scientist or a mathematician. At the end of the day, a scientist's job is to conduct a lot of experiments. And that's what a data scientist does. They actually use all of these mathematical, machine learning, deep learning, and programming tools, and they conduct tons of experiments to build models and to also get insights. Remember, here a data analyst's primary job is insights. A data scientist's primary job will be insights without doubt. These are extremely important. Along with insights, they should be able to build models. For example, now what you might say, hey, what does a model mean? I'll give you an example just so that you get the concept. Imagine you go to YouTube, right? You're watching a video. So here on the right-hand side, you get a lot of other similar videos. Now, who are showing, what is enabling YouTube to show these recommendations? It is happening through a machine learning model called a recommender system, right? Again, to be frank with you, so this is one of the things, actually, we actually take some of the research work that was published by YouTube, and we actually cover these algorithms in our data science and machine learning programs because we wanted our learners to have first-hand real-world experience of how things work in the real world. And this is what a model is. A model is basically saying that for this user who is watching this video from this device in this location, what are the best videos that I can recommend so that the user will click on this and watch these videos? And that can be done using the power of machine learning and deep learning today. Today, YouTube uses a lot of cutting-edge deep learning algorithms for this, right? So this is what a data scientist is expected to do. They're expected to have insights. They're expected to build models which actually work in the real world. And of course, conduct a lot of experiments. They have to test which model is working well. So they have to do a lot of experiments also. Now, the third role is typically called as a machine learning engineer, right? Machine learning engineer. Again, sometimes, especially in companies like Google, sometimes this is also called as software engineer machine learning or software development engineer machine learning. Now you might say, hey, what is this role now? So this role, you can think of it. The simplest way to think of it is a 50% software development engineer plus 50% data scientist. This is the easiest way to think about it, right? It's a combination of two roles now. So typically for a lot of FANG-like companies, half the interviews are typically like what a software engineer does. And a good software engineer should know data structures and algorithms. If he's a senior software engineer or a principal software engineer, they have to know low-level design, sometimes even high-level design. They have to be good at building software. And 50% of the interviews typically are data scientist interviews, very similar to this. Again, I just come to what are the types of interviews at FANG-like companies in just a short while. But I hope this gives you a sense of what is a machine learning engineer. And even in the real world, a machine learning engineer does 50%. Typically, again, this ratio might change from time to time. But you can think of a machine learning engineer as a 50% of the time doing data scientist work, building models, obtaining insights, all of that stuff. And 50% of the times taking a model. Suppose I build a model. I build a machine learning model to recommend YouTube videos for you. Now, this has to be put in production. This has to be put on the servers, right? And it has to be productionized. This is very, very important, right? A model is just a mathematical, it's basically a mathematical representation of something. But you need to put it by writing code, by building scalable distributed systems, right? And again, that's why for machine learning engineers, there is a whole area called ML ops, which is very important, which is all about how do you productionize machine learning models, how do you scale machine learning models. Again, the moment I'm watching a video, I expect these recommendations to come in a split second. So you need to build a lot of low latency, high throughput distributed systems, right? You need to have very high throughput distributed systems. And this whole area can be broadly studied under something called as ML ops, which is an up and coming field. I'll touch back on ML ops in a little while. Okay. This is what a machine learning engineer does. Now there is a fourth role, very popular role, typically referred to as applied scientist. This was the exact role that I worked on for most of my time at Amazon. And I had a role called as research engineer when I was working. It was not called machine learning engineer then, it was called research engineer when I was working at Yahoo Labs early in my career. Now, what is an applied scientist, right? Typically, an applied scientist is expected to have everything that a data scientist has. Plus, this is the critical thing. They're expected to have lots of mathematical depth. This is very, very important because the expectation from an applied scientist is that in addition to what a data scientist knows, he should be able to take cutting edge research. Take a research paper that was published last week, take a cutting edge piece of research work and apply it, plus apply that research to solve our business problems. So typically for an applied scientist, the hiring bar is very similar to data scientists, but they're expected to know more mathematical depth. They're also expected to have, like, they're expected to know cutting edge. Suppose if I say, hey, I'm an applied scientist and I'm an expert in computer vision, which is all about processing images and videos. I'm expected to know what's happening in the bleeding edge. What are the cutting edge work? What is possible? What is not possible? Where is it possible? What happens if I change this? So applied scientist is sort of like a data scientist, but with more cutting edge knowledge that's expected out of them. These are broadly the four types of roles. There is one more role which I'll not go too deep into. There is something called as a research scientist also. There are very few research scientist roles in reality. They're typically there in companies like Google DeepMind, right, which is actually a subsidiary of Google that does fundamental research. Similarly, Facebook AI Research Center. So these are people who typically invent or discover new things, right? They come up with new algorithms. They come up with completely new algorithms, new machine learning techniques, and so on and so forth. Again, there are very few such roles, very, very few such roles. Now, again, typically for a research scientist at DeepMind or Facebook AI Research Center, you're expected to have a PhD. You're expected to have published a lot of research work, done cutting edge research in top universities or top companies, and so on and so forth, right? So again, since we've talked about 5 roles here, let's reiterate the roles. I hope you got.
Okay, guys, let me check. Like something went wrong. Guys, so got disconnected. I guess he has some issue. Just give me 1 sec now. I'll just check with him what's the issue. Guys, I just got a message from sir. So we'll be joining within 2 to 3 minutes. He's having some power cut at his place, so he just connect back within 2 to 3 minutes. In the meantime, like I said, I'll be launching few polls. So I'll just launch it right now so that we can utilize this time. So guys, I'll be launching the first poll, which is the counselor callback poll. If you guys are interested to speak to a career counselor who can actually help you and guide you and have a personalized guidance from them, if you're planning to shift to data engineering or data scientist or as a data analytics, these are the best people whom you can talk to. Okay, so I'm launching the first poll, which is the counselor callback poll. So, guys, just say yes for the poll if you are interested to talk to someone who can give you a personalized guidance. These you just have to say yes, and you get connected to them. Okay, so you don't have to do anything else. And these are the best people who can give you career related doubts, and even they will be clarifying all your personal doubts. Me and Shikant sir will be trying to clarify all your doubts, but obviously there are a lot of personal doubts that you have that will be clarified by the counselor, and they're the best person to do that. Okay, because they have counseled a lot of data scientists or software engineers before this. So in the meantime, I'll be taking few questions. So guys, keep on voting yes for the poll if you're interested. I want to start my career as a data analyst. So can I uh, I am from the CSE background. Definitely, Diksha, you can actually do go about data analytics, as a data analyst. Uh, People usually from a computer science department try for data science instead of data analytics. But if you are a person who's interested in data analytics, there is no harm. Like sir explained, in data analytics, you don't require a lot of programming, or you don't need programming, whereas in data science, you need programming. So if you're a person who's really comfortable and you like or you want to be a data analyst, then it will be a right choice for you. You can go about this. What kind of placement facilities do uh, you offer, sir? Okay, Madhu, so we provide the students with the placement. So I'll just state the number about placement. So you will be amazed that we have in Scalar we have a network of 700 plus active recruiters, or active companies that we are or recruiters that we are in relation with. So you will be getting a lot of chance, and there is no upper limit. You can give as many companies, you can apply for as many companies as you want. We make you practice for the interview. We give you a lot of mock trainings, mock interview training. We provide a lot of subject materials, and the placement rate in Scalar is like the people completing the courses, 94% of the student end up completing the overall course, the 100% of the course. And 93.5% get the job. So you can understand what's the number, and how does they how do they actually get a job. So this is basically a thing. uh, Guys, you are able to see me and hear me, right? I hope. Okay, thank you so much. So I'll be starting the poll, which is the alumni candidates are interested to speak to alumni of Scalar who have actually come to sessions like this and ended up taking Scalar courses, and right now they are working in big tech companies or tech giants. Okay, so they are the people whom you're gonna speak to one on one. These people are working in companies like there are different companies like Microsoft, Amazon. So you are getting a chance to speak to someone who can help you with your career guidance. You can talk to them about the industry in general. You can also talk to them about Scalar courses if you want. So it's totally your choice what you want to what are you talking to them. And you will be getting a personalized call, so then it will be really a good opportunity for you to speak to someone who is working as a data scientist in the industry right now, and getting an insight of the industry. Okay, just keep on saying yes for the poll so that you get connected to them, because this is a great opportunity for the students to get connected to someone who's actually an person who is experienced in data science. Madhu, I've already taken care of the placement part, right? Okay. Okay. What about someone from humanities background? Sort of, if I think mostly the people who are not a part of science, like computer science background, they go for a data analytics course instead of data science, because they have to do very 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 less programming as compared to data science. But if you are a person who's really interested in data science, and you think that this is the best career choice that you have, then you can totally go about it. Scalar do provide beginner friendly courses, so you can go and take the beginners course, and then you will be able to go about it. Okay, guys, all the other questions I will be taking afterwards, because sir is back. I have already taken 2 minutes of his, 2 minutes extra from his timing. So I'll just pass it on to sir. Sir, you were just talking about the, roles and diving deeper into the roles. So, sir, can you please continue from there and just give us little more insight about the roles? Yes, sir.
Again, I know some of you have other questions. I'll just hopefully answer them as we progress. Okay, just give me some time. I know there are lots of other questions also, but just want to get your feedback on, have you gotten a sense of what I'm trying to explain now? Okay, so now let's summarize the roles, or let's understand the roles from other perspectives. So you have a data analyst. I'll just write all the 5 roles that we talked about. Then we have a data scientist, right? Data analyst mostly does data analysis. Scientists build models. Then you have an ML engineer who also is responsible for productionizing and to put the models out into the real world. Then you have an applied scientist who is expected to know the state of the art, cutting edge, and who can actually apply it to solve real world problems. Then you have the research scientist, right? Research scientists, very few roles. Typically, they invent the new set of techniques. I've also seen some applied scientists and data scientists invent new techniques. Okay, so now with that, now 2 things. If you talk about salaries or compensations, typically this is in the increasing order of compensations. Typically, and if you see good product-based companies, I know some of you have questions about compensations, etc. So I thought I'll anyway cover it holistically. So at good product-based companies, we typically see for a fresher, like fresher gets about 11 to 12 lakhs per annum for data analyst roles, whether if you're joining a good unicorn company or a good fang-like company. We also see these numbers growing now to 12 to 15 lakhs. A data scientist typically gets about 20 lakhs per annum, typically. A machine learning engineer will be comparable. His salary will be more on the 23 to 25 lakhs per annum for a fresher, and with experience, obviously more. An applied scientist typically in the 25 to 30 lakhs per annum, typically. Okay, again, I'm talking about the top product-based companies or unicorn startups. Like as Scalar, we also hire data analysts, data scientists for our teams, and also some machine learning engineers. And this is also roughly the same compensations we hire for freshers, because we want to compete with the best of the companies when we hire. Right? We actually pay slightly better than the top companies so that we get better talent. Research scientists, there is very little data. There is very little data for us, but typically they get paid more than applied scientists for the handful of people that are there. Right? So these are the roles, these are the compensations. Also, in terms of career progression, this is very, very important. Let's also understand which role is right for whom. That's very, very important, right? Again, a quick show of hands. How many of you come from non-technical backgrounds? Thumbs up if you come from a non-technical background, or let's say non-IT background. Let's put it that way. Sorry. So non-IT background. It could be mechanical engineering, it could be civil engineering, it could be sales, it could be marketing, it could be product management. Yes, if you come from a non-IT background. If you come from an IT background, thumbs down. Again, this will help me give you more nuances and more details. Interesting. Interesting. Good, good, good. Okay, so let me also bring this angle here, right? So if you think about it, a data analyst is a very suitable role for people who come from non-IT backgrounds. For example, imagine you're coming from sales. I'll just give you some examples here, right? Suppose you come from, let's say, sales background. Then, as a data analyst, you could join a team. Like, for example, we have data analysts in our organization who work with our sales team. We have data analysts who work with marketing team. I've seen this even at fang companies like Amazon. We have data analysts who work with this at Amazon. There are data analysts who work with the supply chain team or the operations team. And what they do, imagine, I'll take sales as an example, right? Sales as an example. Since I understand sales, I have domain expertise of sales. I can marry my domain understanding and business knowledge with the data analysis tools that I know, with the mathematics that I know, to perform great data analysis and bring great insights. So a data analyst is a very, very good starting role for people who come from non-IT backgrounds. Again, we also see some people who come from non-IT backgrounds directly become data scientists also. I'm not denying that. But a data analyst is very, very appropriate in case you're not able to get into a data scientist. That's perfectly all right. What we also see is people who are data analysts within like 2 to 3 years, they build the depth of knowledge and the breadth of knowledge. They become data scientists. I've had so many people in my team who joined as data analysts or sometimes senior data analysts, and within a couple of years, with some mentorship and guidance and upskilling, they've become data scientists, right? So this data analyst is super duper appropriate for people who are coming from non-IT backgrounds. Similarly, if you come from an IT background, then certainly data scientist and machine learning engineer and even applied scientists are very, very appropriate for you. Because at the end of the day, if you come from software development, then machine learning engineer is a most suitable role for you. Also high paying. And the reason for that is you already built software. You already probably wrote code or tested code or did QA for code. Now for you, because you've worked with code, an ML engineer is a very suitable option. Similarly, you can become a data scientist or even an applied scientist if you can go deep into the math and learn state-of-the-art techniques. Research scientist is typically for people who have done PhD in machine learning from top universities and have published some great research work. For them, this is more suitable. Now, at the same time, we are not yet done. Suppose if you come from a program management background, then what role is appropriate for me? We get a lot of students who ask this question also. If you come from program management, there is actually a completely new vertical like program management and product management both. So right now there is program and product management for data science teams. Again, this was almost like 5-6 years back when we were building our whole org of scientists and engineers at Amazon. We struggled to hire program managers and product managers for our org because we did not find product managers and program managers who understood the data science and machine learning inside out. Because I remember, if I have to have a program manager, they have to understand how data science is done. Otherwise, they'll be lost. So we ended up hiring very smart analytical program managers and product managers, and we taught them in-house. But right now, I see a lot of requirement from lots of companies. When we talk to companies, they say, hey, in addition to these roles, can you also help us hire program managers or product managers? So there's a whole new type of role that is coming up. Similarly, people who come from DevOps background. Now, companies, when we talk, like I talk to hundreds of companies through our careers team at Scalar, and they tell us, hey, we have this whole ML ops engineer role. Can you give us people who have had DevOps experience in the past and who know machine learning so that they can become good ML ops engineers, right? So broadly speaking, depending on your background and career, the key thing, this is extremely important. The key is whatever your background is, whether your background is sales, whether your background is marketing, whether your background is program management, doesn't matter. Try to build on top of your skills. There is a huge, again, as I was just telling you, right? We have so much of sales and marketing data in-house at Scalar that we are looking to hire data analysts. We have some data analysts who don't come from sales background. But if one of our team members, one of our sales people or marketing people learn data science, and if they can come to us, I would be thrilled to have them on board because they have domain knowledge. So one of the great career transitions that you can think of is to marry your domain knowledge, whether it's in sales, marketing, program management, whatever it is. Domain knowledge plus data science. That's a deadly combination. And this is what is already happening now. Like, for example, there is an advertising team, there is a marketing digital ads team. Imagine because we do some digital ads ourselves at Scalar. So for my data analyst and data scientist for that team, I would love to have somebody who knows about digital ads. We are looking for that ourselves, right? And if I get a great candidate, I'm the first person to hire that, right? So as more and more areas are being impacted by data science and machine learning and AI, more of people from these roles can successfully transition to data science careers.